There we go, live 001. We are live.
Hello,
Excellent.
good morning, all my little Tuesday warriors.
Oh, look at me. Anyway, whatever. It's not about me.
Oh,
It's about our lovely guest today.
yes, we have a lovely young lady. Ruth will be bringing her on, letting her out from her chains in a few minutes.
Yes, she is a female playwright,
Yes.
based out of Chicago. She's also going to tell us all about her escapades in London and Wales, I think it was, or the West Country in England. And this fabulous new play, which you can see across the crawl at the bottom. You can find a website that we built called cabinfeverplay.com, and it's a comedy about feuds, marriages, and evangelism, which sounds very interesting. Without further ado, let me just make sure.
Down.
Hold on one second. Let me make sure that we are live. Okay, good.
Okay.
And here she is now.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Oh, good. And you?
Very good.
Are you up to your neck in rehearsals?
Yes, but I'm highly caffeinated. So
that's good. And we even wore cabin fever green look
today.
Yeah. Oh yes.
Oh, green shirts on.
Yeah. We coordinated the wardrobe with the play colors. So.
The color theme. I should have thought of that.
That's quite okay.
No.
You're a busy director and a busy playwright.
Yeah.
So tell our folks, because obviously we'll repost this and replay this as well. But tell the folks who are tuning in a little bit about yourself, your bio, where you're from, and how on earth you decided to be. How did you decide to be a playwright and an artiste as well?
Yeah. I am from Chicago. Was raised here. Big fan of my hometown. I, for the longest time, thought I wanted to be a novelist. And then I went in high school to a sort of arts camp and discovered I hated sort of long form stories. And writing them anyway. Love reading them. But I took a playwriting class and just absolutely fell in love. So then I decided, well, if I'm going to be a playwright, I should probably be an actor. And then I realized that I hated acting. And then I realized I could just be a playwright with no acting. Dear friend in London, I was there on sort of a college trip. And I told her, I think I should go to RADA, right? And she had been
aim for the top, right? Why not?
Aim for the top, right? Of course, I thought that I could totally just do RADA, no problem, because 17-year-old delusions of grandeur. And she had been to the Royal Central School of Speech and Drama in London, which is the great rival of RADA. And she told me that going to RADA was a stupid idea and that I should go to Central. And that Central had a course that was 80% playwriting, 20% theater for young adults and applied theater. And I got in, and that was what I did. And I feel, I have a lot to learn, but I have felt very well prepared by my education. I'm very grateful.
Nice.
And so how long were you actually over in the UK?
With COVID, really only like 2.5 years, unfortunately. Okay. Yeah, because that was right towards the end of the 3 years.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I went back for a little bit afterwards, though.
So that got cut short, huh?
It did. Yeah, it got cut a little bit.
Wow. And so, what did you when you say take a playwriting class? I'm fascinated about the structure of. I mean, where on earth do they start to teach you how to be a playwright?
Yeah, Interlochen Arts Academy, the summer camp in Michigan. Tremendous programs for kids of almost every single age. I always recommend to any young artist I interact to try to get yourself to Interlochen for a summer.
And where is that again?
It is in northern Michigan. It is
the Upper Peninsula, as they
Upper
call
Peninsula. That's where it is. Upper Peninsula.
Ooh, very cool.
Wow. Yeah, it's beautiful.
So how long? That's a summer program?
Yeah, that was a summer program that I did in high school.
Okay. And where do they start with something like that? I mean, do they just, yellow pad pencil go?
A little bit, because this Interlochen in particular is very loosey-goosey is the wrong word, very open about how kids learn to do art. We read a couple of plays and then kind of hit the ground running.
Wow.
Yeah.
And is that a collaborative effort in a class like that? You write with other people, or are you writing alone, or?
A little bit, but we were expected to work mostly by ourselves. And I think that was great. We would come in for like a class, and then the next day we would have an assignment, and it was perfect.
That's hard. That's tough though, right? On kids, especially kids. How old were you when you did that?
God, I must have been 15. Yeah.
That's young.
Very young.
Yeah.
I mean, to be able to have the thought of not just developing a story, but the characters and their interaction with each other, and the interplay. When did you actually, this current play that we're working on with you now, Cabin Fever, when did you actually have the original germ of the idea for that, and where did it come from?
Probably university. Probably my second year of university. I had interactions, not interactions. I worked for a summer at a Christian summer camp, and a Christian family camp in the Rocky Mountains. And it was an amazing, amazing experience. And I realized that there's a lot of story there. There's a lot of, hidden experience that's a really cool goldmine for, drama in the traditional sense of the word.
And that's where you started to do. So the characters in this play and the couples in this play are based around experiences that you had with people there, or?
Yeah. Each character is based on 50 different people.
Right.
Yeah. Yes.
One of our guests, Rick Lothers, is saying you've got a book on U.S. Grant on your bookshelf. He's actually a cousin of Rick, who's watching us.
Oh my goodness, that's so cool. Hi, Rick. I do. Great. Oh no, wrong way.
Wrong way. I always get that. Yeah,
I always get it confused. It looks like that way.
It's truly a small world with our TeaFlix audience. They're from all over. We have wonderful regulars from, Israel, Scotland, the east coast of Australia, all over the United States and Canada, of course, and South Africa. So you're going global, baby.
Woo! Hello.
Absolutely.
That's fascinating.
So, all right. So Cabin Fever, the gem of the idea was born how many years ago now?
Probably 3. Yeah. I've been working on it for a while.
So it takes you see movies, people on the movie junkets and the red carpets, and then like, oh, well, we wrote the script 12 years ago and we sold it 10 years ago, and then the company folded, and this stuff takes forever, doesn't it?
It does. Plays take years to write, and if it didn't take you years to write, you should probably take another stab at it.
Yeah. And also finding the cast that really kind of fits in with your idea of. And so, tell me about the casting process.
How do you? Yeah. How do you begin casting?
Yeah. So first thing I did was I talked to 3 of my friends who I thought would be really good fits for the role, who I had seen act and knew that they would be very good. And I went ahead and just offered 3 of the roles to them, save us all the trouble. And then I posted an audition call and hosted auditions by myself for the first time. Myself and my stage manager. And NaVada. Yeah, who is amazing. And she's my boss, I like to say, because she I get to be artistic, and then she kind of tells me that I'm doing it wrong. Yeah. Which is great.
As we say in this house, you're the clouds and she's the spreadsheet.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Yes, exactly. She keeps me on planet Earth. And we posted a casting call. We had a great turnout with casting. And I actually ended up changing 2 of the characters with genders and ages to cast 2 people who I really liked, who I thought were really good, and I didn't really have anything for.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, and it still kind of worked. It just gender bended, I guess, is the and I switched that, and so they were really cool because I was like, here are the pages. We have to change some of these things about your character. And they were like, cool, whatever. We're here to act. Yeah. We're artists. We're,
Chicago has a very vibrant theater scene, doesn't it? Lots of actors there.
Yes, there's tons. I'm really lucky that I get to do this in this city.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think, people automatically think of film acting in Hollywood and stage acting in New York, but Chicago is really, they call it the second city, but it leads in so many ways with talent like yourself and all of these amazing little theaters. We don't have that in LA.
No, and we also have Steppenwolf.
Right. Yeah, that's right. You graduated Steppenwolf, correct?
Yeah, I did in high school. I did Steppenwolf Theater Company's Young Adult Council. And they taught me, hi, Sarah. They taught me absolutely everything. I went in, this was where I just realized I didn't want to be an actor. I went in thinking I needed to be an actor to be in theater. And by week 2, I knew absolutely I did not have to be an actor to be in theater because I knew all kinds of things. They taught me everything that you can imagine. I'm very grateful to them.
But now directing, you're sitting in the director's position. You're probably very grateful that you had that acting experience, so you have empathy for the act, because knowing you didn't want to do it.
Yes.
Puts you in.
There's a reason I didn't want to. It's hard.
It is hard, absolutely, and actors have to be a sponge for every. We have lots of friends who are in the acting game, and they're basically paid to life for a living. They're living somebody else's dream, right?
So they could be politicians then.
Yes, indeed.
They could, absolutely.
Did I say that out loud? I'm sorry.
I'm on election day too.
Yeah.
They could absolutely be politicians. Yeah. And I show up every day. My cast is amazing. They're so good. I've actually had very little directing that I've had to do because just intuitively they know exactly what to do.
Well, and that's probably because when I hear directors, we've been listening a lot to the Jason Bateman, Will Arnett podcast, Smartless, and they talk about directing and what have you, and they always say the jobs in which they have to do the least directing is because it's well written and it's already on the page.
Wow.
And the actors get it.
That's true.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
So
I hope that's true.
I think the sign of a tough script, or one that probably needs doing again, is if you have to literally lead the actors through it because they don't get it. But if they, if it's well written, which clearly Cabin Fever must be, if you're not doing a lot of directing, that's sort of a pat on the back to you as a playwright. You get to fire yourself as a director.
That's very true. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So I know from. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, do you have time for any social life, or are you just totally work bound?
Not for a while. I take every Monday. I take ASL classes with my parents, sign language classes.
Wow, great!
We've loved that. We've loved learning that together. And
what a great joint family experience, huh? To learn. Angie's been thinking about it.
You should do it. I highly recommend. It's been great fun. It's been educational and absolutely just a blast. That's kind of it.
That's your hobby.
That's my hobby. I turn my actual hobby into my job. So.
Yeah, I was just going to say, do you have any pets?
Any pets?
Pets, yeah.
Yeah, I have a cat named Duchess.
Nice.
She's my best friend. She's a rescue cat. I don't know much about her because she's a rescue cat. I've probably had her 4 or 5 years, and she was about 2 when I got her. I think she's named after Duchess in Aristocats, because she's an all white. She's a Turkish Angora, I think is what they are.
Oh,
and yeah, she's a beautiful cat, and she's so snuggly. She's the best cat. But when I picked her up at the shelter, her name was spelled Dutchess. And I just kept it that way because.
Yeah. Well, does she eat Gouda cheese?
Yeah. She'll eat anything.
We have one left. We've had 14 cats through the last 20 years, and the one who's hanging on is called Butch Cassidy, and he's such a macho dude outside in the yard. He goes around, he catches hummingbirds and rats and all kinds of things.
He walks like Mike Tyson.
Yeah,
with the shoulders.
Yeah. And then the minute he goes upstairs and gets with my husband, his daddy, he's like Superman meets Popeye the Sailor Man downstairs. He goes upstairs, he's completely gay. He's left-handed. He gets his stuff out of his bowl with his left hand.
Yeah, onto the floor. First,
and then he just lies there like this in front of Martin. So yeah. Isn't it amazing what an effect they have on your lives though?
Oh my goodness. So much. And the cats, I feel like they say dogs look like their owners. I feel like cats sometimes establish the personalities of their humans.
Yeah,
my
absolutely.
cat is totally like that. I was moving furniture the other day and she got nervous and hid, and I couldn't find her for like an hour. And that's like totally something I would do in the face of change.
Yeah. Rick is asking again. He gets one off-topic question per year. So Rick wants to know, what is your interest in U.S. Grant?
My grandfather was very, very interested in U.S. history, had all the books. And I was a fan of Alexander Hamilton before the whole
shenanigans.
Shenanigans, I guess. So this is just one that we bought 2 copies, one for me and one for my grandfather.
Oh, how wonderful.
To go through together. That was a long time ago, though.
I don't know what the S stands. I know the U is Ulysses, but I don't know what the S stands for. But I'm sure Rick will probably pop on here in a minute.
I actually don't know the answer.
There was one president that actually had an initial that didn't mean anything. Was it? No, Franklin D. was Delano Roosevelt. There was one president who had an initial, but it was just an initial. And I'll remember it shortly.
Like Michael J. Fox, with J isn't anything, is it?
I don't think so, no. Indeed. Speaking about great actors, absolutely. So cabin fever, tell our kids how did you come to do it? It was kind of an all of a sudden thing, right? I mean, it's been written, but then this opportunity to get with the Greenhouse Theater came up, and you opened November 17th, which is next week.
Yeah. It sure is. It sure is next week. I've had the play kind of done enough. I mean, it's never done, but done enough to be ready for production for about 6 months. And 6 months ago, I wanted to do it at the Greenhouse we were there in December, and we were planning on September of this year. And then something with the timing didn't work out. And then the main stage, the downstairs main stage, opened up on a little bit of a surprise basis. And we had an opportunity to fill an opening and do it really quick and get a better space. Well, not better, but larger. Larger is not always better in these circumstances, but because we've got 200 seats to fill now instead of 150 or whatever it was going to be. But, I sort of talked to my stage manager, and we decided to take the plunge, take the risk, and
why not?
So
there's 10 people in the cast, correct?
There are. That's a little bit of boundary pushing that I'm a little bit inclined to do because of that sort of 20% of my Central School of Speech and Drama education that was applied, political and educational theater. And I think that was also inspired by the Steppenwolf ensemble structure, kind of inspired by that. I wanted to take a lesson from them because it clearly works there.
And so how, I'm sure our folks are curious, because I know the pairings and I know the couples, and I know it's based around the evangelical, Christian experience exposure you had in summer camp. How did you come as a creator? How did you come to write in a female lesbian couple?
Yeah, I wanted to be a little bit defiant with that.
I mean, just in an evangelical based play, not something you'd expect to see. That's what intrigues me, exactly. Right?
I also wanted to make it clear to my Chicago audience that this was inspired by evangelicals, evangelical culture, and was not evangelical art.
I see.
Yeah. Okay. I was a little bit worried about sort of
pigeonholing.
Yeah, because as much as you love God's Not Dead 17 or whatever they're doing this year, it's no one really thinks of that as, you know what? I want to watch more. I don't think anyone's ever said, you know what? I want to watch another Christian movie or whatever. It's just not what it is. And I was a little bit worried with the themes about looking like it was Christian art.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you've got your theater, you've got your cast. I'm curious about now, how on earth do you go about like the practicalities of propping this stuff? Do you rent? Do you move furniture out of your home? Do you ask the cast to bring props, or what's the story there?
I'm actually borrowing some things from my parents. My mom has this beautiful blue table that I'm sort of using as like the coffee table on the set. But there's a lovely place in Chicago called Probabilities, where you can rent absolutely anything for $1 a week for the set. And they've been very helpful. And also for this, I used a realtor friend of mine recommended his favorite home staging company.
That's a great idea.
Yes, I think they're called Sizzle Home Staging. They delivered the couches and the chairs for the set this morning, and it looks beautiful. I sent him like 2 pictures of, what we were trying to do, and he knocked it out of the park. Truly,
great.
Yeah,
that's great. And you also have some art that's being loaned by an artiste, right?
Yes, I have art by my favorite artist. Her name is Barbara Meikle. She's based in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and she is a tremendous artist, and she really has just captured what joy looks like in her paintings. I don't know how else to describe them. They're absolutely joyous.
It's if you're looking, I think it's at Barbara. It's Meikle, Meikle.
I believe so. Yeah.
Art on Instagram, and just the ones you showed me yesterday with like a sheep with flowers and a donkey with flowers. Just
that one. That one was one was a custom. So if you look, I'll send you a picture of this after this. But if you look, it's a sheep in wolves clothing.
Oh, I didn't, because it was the photograph you sent was what they were propped up on theater chairs. They were far away, so I didn't get that. That's very clever.
They're stunning. Very clever. And then the other one's a donkey with flowers, I believe.
Right.
And what about wardrobe? Where do you begin?
So for this, it was very easy, because the characters are all, except for 2, on vacation. So I told the cast to go off and bring me 3 or 4 different outfits of what you think your character would wear on vacation. And it was so easy.
Yeah, some of our folks are asking, they want to see the art. So we're going to be posting. If you go on Instagram and follow Cabin Fever the Play, or on Twitter and Facebook at Cabin Fever Play, we will be featuring in the coming hours and couple of days all of the cast, all of the couples, some of the art, a little bit more about. We've just, because this has been such a rush, we've just literally thrown up a website, got Instagram and social media up and running. So, but if you go follow Cabin Fever Play on Twitter or Facebook, or at Cabin Fever the Play on Instagram, and all shall be revealed, including Barbara Meikle.
Yes, and she's fantastic. And she's sending us another painting, letting us borrow another painting for the set, and it's a beautiful pink vista. It's phenomenal. She's so talented.
Well, the whole, it's all set in the Western Rockies, right?
Yeah. Yep,
So,
it is. So her art was right on the money for that. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I think, we obviously wish you all the best success with this and your other plays, but you also have some other tricks up your sleeve. I don't know if you're allowed to talk about them yet with, in the art world and continuing more playwriting and stuff. What is the big 5-year, 10-year goal for Lilian Davidson McGrady with all of the talents that you have?
Oh dear. Well, the plan before this, we had the opportunity to open this play really, really quickly, was to open an art gallery featuring young up and coming artists from Santa Fe, New Mexico, and Barbara. And that's been put a little bit on hold because of this. But I think it is still in the works once the dust settles from this. And my goal.
It would also. Sorry, go ahead.
No, my ultimate goal is to keep doing as much of this silly theater thing as I can.
Well, the other thing about having an art gallery, not only is it a revenue generating business, but it will give you a space to rehearse in, so you don't have to keep cleaning up pizza boxes in your house, right?
Yes. Can't wait for that. Can't wait for that.
And what was it we said the other day? I said, rehearsing at home, lots of pizza, the real kind, deep dish, right? So we're gonna
not that New York floppy nonsense. Yeah.
That's what you called it, New York floppy nonsense.
Yeah.
We're probably going to ignite a pizza war right here on TeaFlix.
Sorry to any New Yorkers.
Breaking news: your pizza has now been renamed by the #1 playwright in Chicago, Floppy Nonsense. Yeah. Hashtag floppy nonsense.
Hashtag floppy nonsense.
There you go. So we are. Somebody wrote, "Thank you for sharing this awesome blessings." Efrat is in. Oh, here we go. She's in Israel. I think somebody should write a play about the McCartney family. She's already cast her son in the lead part.
That sounds great. Do you know any writers?
I do, but I don't think I can afford them. You never know. We might be able to cut some kind of a deal.
Oh, I think we can figure it out.
I think chick power, right? We'll get it done.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. So everybody, thank you so much for your time today, Lily. If you have people in Chicago, go share this. It will be open at the Greenhouse Theater Center from November 17th through December 18th, select nights a week. And you can learn more, buy tickets, meet the cast at cabinfeverplay.com. Thank you so much for your time. And I know we'll be speaking again shortly. Yes. And I will post this up all over the place, including, with your permission, on the Cabin Fever Play website.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay.
Why not?
Yes.
All right, kids. Wonderful. Well, thanks for tuning in and share away. And lots of love from LA to Chicago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.